By nature, all mammals must connect to have a feel of what life is. You are a mammal, so am I. In today's video, I'm sharing 4 forgotten tips, the basic tips which seem to mean nothing to very many, yet hold huge gallons of water when it comes to connecting with people deeply. My name is Nelly O. Welcome to Elevation Chapter, the channel that promotes human connection, spreads positivity to recover humanity. If you are new here and you desire to have meaningful human connections, welcome home. Please subscribe and join the family. Of recent, I have come to a realization that what might be so obvious to you might be breaking news to another person. So today, I'm sharing 4 tips to enhance our connections deeper. Number 1, stop butchering people's names. In one of Harvard's Business Review's articles, they cite a study which was held in 2012. It was titled, "Teacher, Please Learn Our Names." Students had their names mispronounced in the classroom. It affected their social emotional well-being and by extension harmed their ability to learn. That's how bad it can get. This is not for students only. Meanwhile, learning to pronounce someone's name correctly is not just a common courtesy, but it's an important effort in creating an inclusive environment, one that emphasizes psychological safety and belonging. What's funny is people take it lightly. However, misspelling or mispronouncing someone's name never goes well with the person. By virtue of my training career, I can attest to this big time. I have had a million chances to see how people react when their names are mispronounced. One of my very recent scenarios, I remember, I was an MC at a certain event and one of the speaker ladies had a difficult name, one of those complicated names. I took time to ask for the right pronunciation. I took time to rehearse and boom! While I was right behind the podium, I confidently opened my mouth and mispronounced her name. She jumped in quickly to correct me. That's how worse it can get. So please, if we want to connect well with people, let's take time to learn how they love their names to be pronounced and spelled. Whether it's one-on-one, whether it's chatting, whether email, or even on phone calls. In fact, in writing, please take note not to write someone's name starting with a lowercase or a small letter. This is seen a lot in different WhatsApp groups. People's names being typed starting with a lowercase. I don't know when that started, but it's not good. It's happening of late and it devalues people. Make people happy by treating their names with much care and attention. So how do we do this? 1, you can ask the person how they pronounce their name. And 2, you can research beforehand and practice. Hope you don't end up like me. 3, ask to be reminded in case you forget someone's name. It's very normal. And 4, try to be observant and hear how people pronounce a person's name. 5, apologize if you have already mispronounced or misspelled the name. Always remember, people love the sound of their names. It makes them feel personally known to you. And number 2, connect deeper through follow-ups. Let's start off with the corporate world. If it's your first time to meet with someone and you have gone ahead to exchange business cards or cell phone numbers, then there you have a room to connect further. If you received a card, then send an email at least within 24 hours when they can still remember who you are and where they met you. Simply express how you appreciated meeting with them and go an extra mile to let them know what you liked. Perhaps it's their presentation or the reception you received at their office. Make it clear that you look forward to hearing or meeting them again. This makes them feel valued, important, noticed, and appreciated. The next time you two meet, the person will be happy to connect again, since the stranger walls will have fallen by then. And number 2, let's say it is family and friends. Perhaps you are at an event or just a catch-up moment, and finally it's time to go home. Definitely you will hear people wishing each other a safe trip back home, and everyone leaves the venue. However, that one person who picks up the phone and makes a call to check if one reached safely is the person that takes an extra mile to connect deeper, and it makes the other party feel human, feel wanted, feel loved, and mostly feel cared for. Their view of you will change completely, and their engagement with you will go deeper just because they feel you can be trusted. The same applies to someone who is traveling and it happens that they informed you about their journey. Simply follow up and ask if they arrived well. Very simple things that create greater impact. Number 3, avoid insider language in public. Insider language in the corporate world goes for jargons created and used within a certain workplace. Insider language can also be used in families. For example, in my family, we call meat sauce akaboga, and we call eating okukina. The challenge comes when it's transferred to the public domain. Then we are missing a point. More so, life in the 21st century globalized world brings people into contact with others from different cultures who use different languages. We obviously need to learn the etiquette of not speaking other languages in a group of people. When you speak a different language with other people, it creates a perception of exclusivism, and usually people become suspicious and irritated when they don't understand what you're saying. You might have good intentions, by the way, but it's hard to convince a person. It's a very rude thing to do, and it has potential to make you less trusted by the affected parties. So how best can you do it? Number 1, recognize the person's presence and request to address the matter in a different language if majority of the people in the group speak your language. Number 2, apologize in case you realize you spoke the language without letting the other people know. It paints a good color on you. You even go ahead and interpret what you said to make them feel comfortable. Number 3, if it is a private matter meant for someone in the group, request to have a word with the person outside the group, or rather wait and talk to the person when everyone is going. If the matter can actually wait, let it wait. Remember to make people feel human around you. Number 4, heart appointments. Appointments are losing meaning. We need to learn what is early cancel, late cancel, reschedule, and maintain. You see, we overcommit ourselves because it's easier to say yes instead of no at a given moment. It has become normal to many people because it's overly done by the old and by the young. Even the people you least expect, people in higher offices that you give high regard. The way appointments are being treated is now branding majority of us untrustworthy and unserious. Apparently, this is the new normal of appointments. Someone agrees to meet up with you for whatever reason, whatever business that you want to discuss. And prior to the meetup day, you endeavor to check in on them. And guess what? You find out they had already canceled the meeting but never informed you. And if it happens that you blindly go to the venue without checking on them, boom, you will just have to change the agenda and meet with yourself instead. Shockingly, this is happening even with online appointments too. You sign in, and let's say on Zoom, and you wait for someone in vain, and yet you had the time allocated properly and you had agreed on the meeting time. We need to learn that when you meet your commitments with people, you build trust and you gain confidence. That same confidence gives you a backbone to say no if you can't take on something at a time. I like Stephen Covey's book, The Speed of Trust. Stephen explains very well when it comes to commitments that you freely make without any form of coercion. I recommend that book to all of you. Keeping commitments is a sign of maturity. But what's funny, however, is you can easily meet a 50-year-old before maturity visits them. That's why learning never stops. We all know life is very unpredictable, and sometimes you just need to cancel a meeting or reschedule it. So how should we approach this? Number one, the earlier the better. In normal circumstances, at least cancel 24 hours to the meeting. That's the minimum time, at least, if you already know that you won't make it. And number two, in case of any emergency, alert someone as soon as it's very clear to you that you're not going to make it to the meeting. Number three, in this digital age, it's easy to change the meeting mode. Instead of canceling or rescheduling, you can opt for online meetings. Those are the 4 simple yet impactful tips to enhance your connections. Please, we need to give value to all our connections despite their category. Today's quote is from this amazing man, Paulo Coelho. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. The question of who is wise and who is not remains for you to answer. If you haven't subscribed, it's very easy to do, and it's very free, by the way. Please subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you for watching. I trust you will embrace winning in simple things to nurture your connections. Cheers!